Last time I had a canker sore, now I have a pimple on my face, so I don't want to show myself for too long. Let's just dive into the video.
Do you know who I am?
If you don't know,
I don't know how to put this.
I am a frame and drone designer.
Kind of a big deal.
I started in FPV,
People know me.
and I found that there was a need for better flying drones.
I'm very important.
Because electronic companies make our electronics, but they don't care so much about making them like as light, strong, and beautiful as possible. So I've kind of gone nuts in this. What I think is the most important part, having a good frame. And today we're going to be diving into my first kind of like developed 1S frame, the Whisper. So I have 6 frames. We have the Whisper, which is good for 1S and 2S. We have the Psycho, which hasn't been developed much. This also is like basically like 75 millimeter to 2 inches. Then the Psycho is a 2.5 inch. The Discus, this is my most popular and most developed frame. You can fly it on any system. And all of my frames can be designed as pushers. Like this, that's a Discus pusher. It has protection, naked GoPro, amazing. But it can also be built as a racer. You can build them different ways because the frames are designed to be compatible with all sorts of different parts. So we make all sorts of accessories that make them fun. Especially the Discus. It's like a switchblade. Swiss Army knife that does everything. And then we have the Ballerina. It's a 4-inch. And it's designed more to be just like a long-range Flywoo Explorer killer. It's way lighter. It's nice and strong, but there's no motor protection. And you can also use the Discus top plate, and you could actually use this canopy on a Discus. But this is made with one specific camera at like a 20-degree angle, so that you can just go fly and explore and have a great time with that. And now we have Le Push, which is another one that can be built normally. And we built one, and it's a pusher. Are you filming it?
Yeah. I couldn't film that.
Designed to be like a super fast proxy. It's not meant to be really bashed. It can take a bit of a beating, but it's meant more like to have a big drone that's fast. It goes where you point it. It's really fun. It has protection, but it's super nimble. One that we haven't made yet. And this is basically like Le Push, but it's like the race version. So no motor protection, light as possible, strong as possible. Like the weight to strength is a very important thing. So I've made these drones kind of as light and strong as possible. Because if you make it, yeah, we'll dive into that into the Sub 250 Masterclass. Then even with the Ballerina, this is like about 1 gram lighter than the Discus. The video cut out and we had to start all over again. I just really want to show you kind of the psychopathy that I go through making even the simplest things. Lots of people would make something like this and be done, if even that. You see like that, but this was like one of my first mounts for like a Meteor. Then we took it further, like we made it lighter, we curved it, we made it prettier. Same thing with like, for instance, our battery holder. So we had a battery holder, and then we had another type that was we had this thing, but this allows you to screw it in your whoop underneath, and then that holds the battery in place. But it goes around the USB. I wanted to basically combine that with this so that we could be able to put a battery holder and have the USB go through it. So this holds the battery in place, and it lets the USB go through it. And we have a version for drones with an antenna, and Blue FPV helped me like put these two together. Everything I design takes forever, and there's intricacies. Like this design, it's all like curved nicely and like shaped to be beautiful. And then we have the version without the antenna. And now we have these mounts in 20 degrees and in 30 degrees. If you have the HD0 camera, it came with something like this that is nice and light, but it has no protection for the back of the camera. And you have a $50 Whoop camera, you don't want to break it. So we started off by making this the right size. Then we made something like this. And this is heavy and it was too tall. And then, so I brought the camera down a bit. And then bit by bit, like design after design, we came up with this. But what happened was, it was wobbling too much. So then we added these braces. So you can see like at the base, there's a little bit more brace. I made this the exact like height so that the camera would be sitting on the back. So now you see the finished version. This weighs 0.1 grams heavier than the original. And then you just basically E6000 your camera on the top so that it when it hits, the E6000 like takes the impact and the little fin. And then I glued the antenna into there too. And the camera sits like right there. And if it hits, it doesn't hit the electronics. It goes into the TPU. And it's the same thing with this. When you have the camera here, if it hits, the camera goes into the TPU, and these two pieces of TPU line up with the camera perfectly. You have something that is strong, flexible, able to take a beating. A guy named Levster wanted a 1S quad. So we started off with the Whisper. I'm like, okay, we're gonna develop the Whisper. We're gonna make something really nice for you. But I realized that we don't need these inner battery straps because we're not using battery straps. The frame kept breaking like right over here. It broke here around the holes. There's not enough material. So we made a V2, and the V2 is beefed up around where it was always breaking. Thicker there. We took out the whole middle, but we left these two so that we're able to do a 2S mount that I like to do. And then this works with the prints. So your battery strap goes here, and it allows you to have the USB there too if you have a USB at the bottom, or if you put the USB on top, it works like that as well. And they're both super light, and then you're able to build a fun little 1S quad. This same frame with the 2S version. These two holes allow you to screw up into this canopy. That's a one-piece design that holds a 2S battery. Slides in there. With a naked GoPro, it weighs 90 grams and it can fly for like 6 minutes easily. And it's a pusher. Today we're looking at a custom build for Levster. I think that this build would be best with 802 2500, especially for 1S. But he likes the torque of the bigger motors, so we got the 1002s on there. The cords were a little too short, so I had to extend them all, so it was a bit of a nightmare build. There's new HQ props. I would probably go with the new Hyperlight HQ bi-blades. This can fit up to 2-inch props, but we're trying it out on these. Go for a rip and see how it feels. We have a toilet tank so that when you hit the battery, it doesn't go flying out, and these are available for you to order. This is our maiden. So I hate making people watch full videos because I find them kind of boring. But anyways, here we are flying indoors with open prop, the 75 Pro. So these are, I believe, 45 millimeter tri-blades that you would get on the Meteor Pro. And so far, this is our first time flying, and it feels pretty locked in. But there's shaking and stuff. And if I'm sending anyone anything, I want it to be that I'm happy with it. So you're coming with me through the process of kind of like this is the first one that I've sold, not just like as a frame kit, but like as a drone to someone. So it's really important to me that if you get something from me, that you're going to be able to have an experience that I would be happy with, not just kind of slapping something together and giving it to you. So you're going to get to go through the process of testing and going from something that's okay to something that we're really happy with. And that means you gotta fly it, you gotta test it, you gotta try different props and stuff. And I've really focused on the 3.5. So we got the discus in a place where you can just get one and it's going to be perfect. Whereas with the 1S, this isn't something that I've played with that much. But I also develop a lot with you guys, as with my customers, where it's like, you want something, if I don't have it available, that's kind of what pushes me to be like, okay, so you're on Walksnail and you want to do this with this frame, okay, let's build some stuff and make it compatible. And once we've figured it out once, then I know I can keep duplicating that and making it for other people. Yeah, so it's flying nice. We got open props. We haven't been smacking anything. No chipping the walls, so Ariel's not going to kill me. And that's some indoor flying. I think that's good enough. Okay, Now we're outside really pushing it, seeing what it can do. And you know what? It's flying. I'd say that this, like if normal people were flying a little 1S thing, they would probably expect it to kind of fly the way it is now. We're flying behind ourselves now with antennas that are pointing forward, so the video doesn't look that great. But it's flying decently, but there's a lot of like stuttering. There's stuttering and shakes. Like it's not as smooth as I want it to be. Now we're doing a dive. You know, it has to be able to dive and spin and all that stuff. And something kind of terrible happens here. So there's just this shakiness. And the other thing, we're not getting enough flight time. We're getting like 2-minute flight times. And to me, I want to fly for at least 3 minutes. Like it's just, to me, if you get 3-4 minutes of freestyle, that's kind of the perfect amount. But I hate 65, and I hate like anything that can't fly more than 2 minutes, because it's like 2 minutes. Like what's the point? You just get like warmed up and then boom. See that? So I don't think that was the RC link. I think that was actually something weird. Like it's just with the tune, with the shakiness, like something happened there where it like desynced for a bit, or I just lost control for a little bit and was able to catch it. But I don't want you to be flying and have stuff like that happen to you, because nothing sucks more than losing a drone and it just happening and it not really being your fault, it being the fault of the electronics or the tune or something. Like you want to be able that, yeah, you're going to break things, yeah, you're going to lose things, but hopefully it's your fault. I hate when things break and there was nothing you really could do about it. So yeah, so we've flown it outside. It's okay, but we're about to do something new. Okay, so let's try and do this trick, fail, and then move on to the next. Okay, we're going through our final round. This is what I was using, the Meteor Pro props, but I switched to 2-inch. So now we're in the HQ Hyperlight 2-inch, and I think these are going to be the ones to go with. Yeah, okay, let's see how it handles. Same drone and everything. All we changed is the props. Oh my goodness. So you see, this just, it flies like a totally different quad, and all we did was go from 45mm props to blades that are about 50mm. These are 2-inch HQ Hyperlight blades, and it's like the shakiness is gone. The drone is now smooth. It's still 1S, so you're gonna get like a bit of like sag. It doesn't have that power. You can't really expect to have the power of like a 4S quad. It just doesn't have that. It is a 1S, but it's just now flies smoothly. It flies beautifully. This is how we want our quads to fly, or this is kind of what I've obsessed over. It surprises me that I find not as many people really care about having something that really flies balanced and perfectly. Like they're just okay with flying, or you try something and you can fly it, so it's fun. To me, my big obsession with FPV has been getting these builds to just be balanced, so that when you turn, they carry the weight in any direction. So you're not doing a spin and having the weight of the drone throwing you out of balance, or having your quad shaking. Like it's just, you want, regardless of what you're flying, you want it to fly like this. So to have this little 1S that just flies so beautifully is special, and it takes time. And if you've hung out and watched this whole video, thanks for giving me the time to kind of show you this process. And there's my buddy Nick. I taught him how to fly on the simulator, then got him into whoops, and this is the day that he flies his first discus. And in a way, he's so fortunate, because the first thing he's ever going to fly is something that just flies amazing. And I never got to have that experience. It was literally being so kind of unhappy with how quads flew that got me into like learning how to design them so that I could make something that would fly more like this. And it makes such a big difference. If you have something that has the right setup, the right tune, the right balance, then it's like it flies for you. You become one with it, and you don't have to spend like tons of money on the most expensive thing, but you get a good frame some decent electronics. And this is basically a Petrel V2 transferred over to my Whisper frame. And it just, night and day difference. It flies beautifully. And that's the last flight I'm going to make you watch. There's a couple more, but I'm going to put them together into a little kind of FPV video with music for fun. And yeah, let's do that. I actually used this to try and chase his discus with, so I'm chasing the discus with a little 1S later. But let's go do that. Don't really direct solder anymore like this. Like that only happens if the plug falls off or something and I have to. I always cut the plug and do it like that because I find it to be way safer. I don't want to break electronics, and it's actually easier to solder. The posts, I split them apart, so the two are split to the side, and then there's the middle one. That keeps it kind of safe. It also makes it easier for you to solder if anything comes undone. It's still direct soldered. It's just the plugs aren't fully off because I've broken at least 6 boards direct soldering, so I just feel safer doing this. That might help you too if you've destroyed a pile of board. I made a video, I believe, on how to do that, so I'm going to link that right here so you can check it out. I'm showing you a little trick that Butterfly FPV taught me. And check out Butterfly FPV, and because if you use tape for this, it's heavy, but you can just use dental floss. You make a few knots and then cut it with a X-Acto knife. When you crash and stuff, these little wires can go places, or they can go back and forth, and then they start getting loose. So even on whoops, it's good to secure them somewhere on a bracket or whatever, so that they don't vibrate and fall off the motor or the drone, so it helps reduce movement. Do that, you do a few knots. I have a little X-Acto knife. We'll just kind of go close to the knot. I've knotted it like 3 times. Just go cut away from yourself, right? Woo! And then just do it over here. I did it to all 4. It's a little bit tedious, but gives you more longevity in the long run, right? Your motor wires are safe, and that basically weighs nothing. And then instead of using tape, it falls off, especially when it's so little and that it's heavy. And you get a cute little thing. There you go. my goodness. Yes, it's so much better on the 2-inch prop. We get 3 minutes of freestyle and probably like 5 if you were being super gentle. It feels way better, way more authority and everything. Authority. Hope you're happy with it, and it's off to the customer. And now we're testing out this with another buddy boy. This is gonna be his first time flying a discus. He's flown nothing but tiny whoops. And if you want to see the video,